Hi, this is John. I just got done watching the 2015 Port Address with John Reinhardt. He had a lot of charts and numbers, and I choose to go ahead. I prefer to have things more on a simplified level. I heard things in there in the Port Address as to, if we see them failing at something, to hold them accountable. Well, every decision that Virginia International Terminals has made has failed the truck drivers. Every single decision. I've been in the industry almost 17 years. I have gone from doing 8 to 10 moves a day to 6 to 8 to 4 to 6 to 3 to 4, and then 3 to 2. Now we're down to 1 move a day. That's a bit of a problem, especially when I was just last week over at a very large distributor in our area. I'm not going to name names, but they were supposed to receive over 200 containers that week. Now, from the 4 different carriers that they had, they were able to receive a total of 15 containers. They can't sustain their warehousing facility out there. Corporate is looking into closing that warehouse because it's not cost effective to leave it open. And this is not just the past few weeks, and it's not because of the snow, and it's not because of the weather. It's due to the fact that the cranes do not operate efficiently. I hear things about, we're operating at max efficiency. That's not it. There's a lot of tweaking that needs to be done. There's a lot of changes that need to be implemented. And all of these suggestions that other drivers, including myself, have made to the Port of Virginia have basically been just ignored. I cannot recall any of the suggestions that any of the port drivers have made, any of the meetings or anything else, that have actually gone into place. Nothing. Well, I'm sorry. After the news article that Andy Fox did, we did get porta potties. So that, I guess that was something that was done. But the port went ahead and let truck drivers sit and suffer, and make, this problem out there due to the fact that they were just being lazy and not caring. I'm not just speaking for myself. I know there's a number of other truck drivers out here who have absolutely had it with the fact that we're just mistreated. You guys expect us to sit here in the ports and not get compensated for our time. You have gone ahead and created this hell. And customers, brokers, you're suffering. You don't want to pay us to sit here in these lines and wait. I'm actually sitting here now in line. I've been here now over 2 hours. I haven't even in-gated yet. I had enough time to watch the whole little YouTube praise us, look what a great job we're doing. The people that are applauding are not anyone that has to go ahead and actually sit in these lines and watch the chaos and mismanagement that these ports are forcing the drivers, brokers, and customers to have to financially bear that burden. So, a time has come for a change. There's going to be a very large something coming, and the whole situation, when you have enough drivers that are this angry and frustrated and can't make a living, if things wind up shutting down, trucks wind up striking, whatever it may be, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Any customers who are thinking about having their freight go through the Port of Virginia, whether it be NIT, VIG, you're fools. It is going to cost you astronomically, because us drivers aren't doing this for free anymore. We're not sitting and waiting. Not to mention the fact that it takes anywhere between 6 to 12 hours to get in and out of the pier. This talk, I had to write down some of this stuff. 60 minutes and 70-minute turn times. Non-existent If any of you believe that, this is just pure propaganda. That's exactly what it is. It is an out, bold-faced lie. I have been here taking me 5 hours to go ahead and in-gate, and another 4 hours just to out-gate. There's a number of videos and pictures floating around here on the web. Check it out. You'll see what the truth is. I honestly don't like this whole, I don't like it when people lie, period. But when you have hundreds upon hundreds of truck drivers that are sitting here, dispatchers dealing with angry customers and brokers, and everybody's screaming about the problems at the port, and to watch that video was just atrocious. I don't know how to put it in any other way. It was just absolutely disgusting. And how anybody could applaud that. It's a damn good thing they didn't allow any truck drivers in that meeting, because there would be no applause. I could pretty much assure you, you would just heard, you know, loud boos across the whole audience. You are biting the hand that feeds you. The truck drivers are just an integral part of this port as ILA or any other entity that is affected by this port. It is the bloodline of the port. The boxes can come 2 months, a month to come across the ocean. And they can't go ahead and get from the port to their destination. You have cranes over at VIG. Need to be reprogrammed. There's an awful lot of wasted time. I've seen these cranes go ahead and they come forward, they take a box off or put a box on and then go back, reset, and then shoot on down to the back. And sometimes that resetting point takes 5 minutes. The majority of time takes about 5 minutes. Now, 5 minutes per truck, 5 trucks per stack, 16 stacks. At the end of a week, we're talking hours, not minutes anymore. You have wasted time with these worthless inspections. I'm curious to know who at these ship lines are paying for these chassis inspections. Because if you're at NIT, you have to go into the port, you're bringing in a box, you have to get your chassis inspected. Now the chassis is still assigned to you. You have to drop your box, then head to the outbound, get an EIR, which the chassis is still assigned to you at that point. So what is the point of the final EIR if you're not picking up anything? You can't leave the chassis in the port, so to speak, but after you outbound and get your final EIR, you have to go out the back gate to go over to the chassis yard, which is 50 feet away. Literally, you come out the gate 50 feet and you are in the chassis yard. You have to go ahead and do another chassis inspection. You go ahead and drop that chassis, there are drivers waiting bumper to bumper for chassis because there is no equipment. They go ahead, hook up to their that chassis, they got to come to the inspection line. What inspection? Well, you get a ticket saying it was inspected. Then you drive your 50 feet once you get that ticket, and that driver goes in the port to get his box. Then he has to go to CSA in NIT yet again to get another inspection. Who is paying for these inspections? There is a lot of wasted time in these ports, and not one decision that has been made has been to benefit the bloodline of these ports. These ships that come into the port are not the bloodline of the port. If you want to call it anything, it's a blood clot. You have drivers that are out here on the internet screaming about the mismanagement here. Mr. Reinhardt, I'm calling you out. There's been a number of suggestions made. Not one of them have been implemented. The porta potties, well, thank you very much for the porta potties, but if you got us in and out of the port in a timely manner, we wouldn't need to worry about that now, would we? I've been on the interstate, I've been told backed out onto the highway, been told can't be parked there, it's an improper stop on the highway. How much longer is this mismanagement going to continue? I'm calling you out, Mr. Reinhardt, because I don't like when people go ahead and lie. I would have thought your discussion, your rant, whatever you want to call it, propaganda, would have been far more effective and believable if you had been honest. But there are too many customers and brokers out here who also know the truth because they get copies of these times. Not just the times we spend out on the street, parked on the highway. I'm talking actual times in the pier, which don't coincide with your 70 minutes as assessed or what you claimed. So what other suggestions could there possibly be to make the port more productive? Well, you could go ahead and set boxes on the ground over here at VIG, excuse me. Have it set up like NIT. You get it set up like NIT, have strads out there to alleviate some of the stress from the automated cranes. You reopen PMT, but there are so few people working there, overhead cranes or anything else. The lines are astronomical. Great, you open PMT. Well, you unmanned it. So what difference does it make? The drivers sit for 8 to 12 hours here at APM, VIG, sit 8 to 12 hours at PMT. All you did was go ahead, listen to the horns. That's hundreds of truck drivers waiting in line because they've had enough. There is a big problem coming down the pipe. And I hope all those members at VIT are listening. And I hope the governor of Virginia is also listening to this. Because there is a big problem. When you go ahead and cut the throat of the truck drivers, why are they going to stay in this industry? I'm not planning on staying in this industry anymore. I made more 17 years ago than I do now. The rates have not changed. 3 decades. We have not had a pay raise. The rates have not gone up. You've implemented a fuel surcharge, but you've screwed us in so many other ways. I hope that other men and women will go ahead, my other brothers and sisters in the trucking industry, will go ahead and do videos just like this. I hope everybody's paying attention because this nightmare is just gotten worse because it's about to come to your front door. When the trucks go ahead and shut down, when the drivers have had enough, when the freight can't get over here because we import way too much of our freight, food and everything else, instead of making it here. When you've betrayed the drivers that go ahead and put that on your plate, who bring the food to your house. When you start going hungry, don't complain. You've created this mess. I hope everybody else goes ahead and does one of these videos. I think it'd be a great idea. It's time for all of us to go ahead and show our disgust for the mismanagement here at the Port of Virginia. And I know New Jersey, my brothers up there in New Jersey that are going through this, down there, all over the ports. It's time to go ahead and make a stand. We're not standing for it anymore. I look forward to hearing from some of you in some of your videos. God bless you all. Wish everybody the best. And I hope this can turn around quickly. But it's been a very long time, and the problem this past year has only gotten 100 times worse. God bless and have a good day.